So the biggest change, I haven't talked to Mark Zuckerberg in a while. Then all of a sudden I see him and he looks completely different. He puts you on the Meta board and he seems like a Trump guy.
I think
what is that?
I think what you saw, not just Zuckerberg, I think you see all the guys from Silicon Valley now that are, having dinner with Trump, showing up at the inauguration and creating a relationship with him. I feel like a lot of these people were, during the woke nutty madness that we went through, I guess I would call it during the COVID era, and a little before that, are also relieved that it's over. And I think a lot of people, there was very few people, there was a handful of people that actually stood up against this and weren't afraid to face, I don't know, whatever we might have faced during that thing. A lot of people got canceled. A lot of bad things happened to a lot of good people during that time. And, but there was a handful of people that stood up to it. And I think everybody's relieved that it's over.
Are you concerned that at your next Meta meeting, you'll lock eyes with Mark Zuckerberg and he will steal your soul?
No,
do you not get that alien vibe at all?
I actually like Mark. No, listen, if I felt that way about Zuckerberg, I would have never been on the board. I would have never. So my head of PR actually hit me up one day and says, hey, Mark Zuckerberg's looking for your number. Can I give it to him? And I said, yeah, of course. So he called me and he said, would you mind coming up to my place in Tahoe and having dinner? And I said,
what's this place in Tahoe like?
I'll tell you. So I don't know Mark Zuckerberg, never talked to him, saw the movie. That's as much as I knew about Mark Zuckerberg. Wow. So I walk into his living room of his house and they put me in the living room to wait. And he's got this American flag on the wall with like 13 stars on it or whatever, you know what I mean? And I'm like, off to a good start. In the back, he's got a house right on the lake. The biggest American flag you've ever seen in your life ripping in the wind in the backyard.
Really?
100%. 100%. Then he comes in, we sit down, we have dinner, and we probably talk for 4 hours. And I walked away from that first meeting liking Mark. And we started to create a relationship from there. We talked, and he's a UFC fan, and we became friends. Then the whole Elon versus Mark Zuckerberg fight thing that was going on at that time, that was real, and I was in the middle of it, and I had a blast doing the negotiations with that thing, talking to Elon for an hour every night, talking to Mark an hour every night, and then I was literally.
What were the negotiations about?
About the fight, where it would be. What weight classes, this, that, what could you do, what couldn't you do? And I was literally doing conference calls with the government in Italy to do this thing in the Colosseum in Rome. And, for the right number, the Colosseum was going to let us do that fight there. And then eventually, it started to fall apart. But while it lasted, it was fun. And through that, Mark and I became even closer, and then I flew from Italy to the RNC. I spoke at the RNC.
Yeah.
And I flew back to Italy on my vacation with my family, and I got a text from Mark that said, hey, can you talk for a minute? Called him back, and he said, this is what he said to me. I think you're a great businessman. You always seem to be on the right side of everything. And my company needs a backbone. I would be honored if you would sit on the board for Meta. And
this was right after your RNC speech?
Right after, as soon as I landed back in Italy.
He gave $350 million to Joe Biden's campaign in 2020. That's kind of wild that he's watching you at the RNC and is like, I like what you have to say. I want you on the Meta board. Like, what do you make of that?
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know.
That's interesting, you got to admit. Anyone who's knowledgeable about physical health would tell you that sleep is absolutely essential. And here's a good way to get a better sleep. It's called Cozy Earth. We use them. They make bamboo sheets. That sounds a little bit weird. Try it. It's one of those things that's so weird, it's likely to be great. And in fact, it is great. They are soft, smooth, breathable. After a long day, slipping into Cozy Earth bamboo sheets is a deep pleasure. But it's not all that they sell. Cozy Earth has a long lineup: bedding, joggers, pajamas, lots of different ways to be comfortable in bamboo. It's very cool. Valentine's Day is coming up. It's a perfect time to try it. Buy it for someone you love. You get a 100-night sleep trial and a 10-year warranty. You can roll around on Cozy Earth's bamboo sheets for a decade, and it's backed up from the company. And if you use the code Tucker, you get up to 40% off on your purchase. You go to CozyEarth.com, use the code Tucker. Don't forget, if asked in a post-purchase survey, let them know you heard about Cozy Earth from us. They're great.
Yeah. But that's how it all went down. That's the beginning up until today of my relationship with Mark. And you know, I know a lot of people think my sister is as far right. My sister's like you, as far right as you could possibly get. During the COVID era,
she is a good person.
you met her. You and her hit it off in New York.
Totally, yes, yeah,
I couldn't get you two apart in New York. But my sister during the COVID era, I'd have to say, Kelly, stop texting me. Stop. Okay, the world is not ending. So my sister had her feelings about Zuckerberg and a lot of other people that are far right. But I'm just telling you, my relationship.
Now, Kelly is not far right. Kelly's just basically a sensible person.
Kelly's as far right as you are.
So what did she think about you going on the meta board?
She didn't love it. And, but I said, listen, Mark Zuckerberg isn't what everybody thinks he is. He's not as bad as everybody thinks he is.
Well, I do think it was, we're just watching it from afar, not talking to you about it, but I thought the one thing that everyone knows about you is you're opposed to censorship. You're clearly, again, this week you came out and you said one of your fighters said something you thought was disgusting and you hated, but you're not firing him. Like, you've kind of taken a stand against censorship very publicly again and again and again. Facebook is known for censorship, so probably a good thing they're putting you on the board. Like, what's going to happen when you're sitting in a meeting and like, we need to censor stuff we disagree with?
I think that's why I'm there. I'm not there for my technical capabilities. I can promise you that. And my,
do any programming?
What my theories on AI are and how we should, I know my role there, and I've already been in it. We've already had some situations and some things that we've dealt with. My first board meeting, actually in person, up in Silicon Valley, is a week after I fly from here to Sydney. We have a fight next Saturday. Then I fly home, and then like a week later is my first board meeting where we're not on Zoom. So, I'm not, I know what my role is. And I'm the type of guy, I will speak at this thing when I can add value. And when I think I got a lot to learn. Never been on a board before. Run a company, big company now that deals in, hundreds of millions to billions of dollars. And, a lot of the things that I do are by, I would guess I would just say gut and how I think we should handle it.
Thanks for watching our YouTube channel. We hope you'll subscribe to it. And by the way, you can hit the little bell on there and get notifications every time we produce a video. We hope you'll do that also.